Hello and welcome back to Parc Ferme Parley. I am your host Kieran Downey, and today we are going to be diving into the Canadian Grand Prix qualifying. And although I may seem fairly happy, I feel dead inside. Okay, a slight exaggeration. I am actually very happy. We had a very good qualifying session. There was lots going on. The timing sheets are wild, but Ferrari was out in Q2 and it's quite upsetting. Anyway, we will come on to that later. First of all, let's get into the news that was announced just before qualifying. It literally broke on air. And that is Yuki Tsunoda has extended his contract with Visa Cash App RB. It was something that I think was up in the air. I think as long as Checo hadn't signed on for Red Bull, there was a chance that Yuki could move up. But as soon as Red Bull locked in Checo, we knew that Yuki was going nowhere. He would be staying with Visa Cash App RB. Am I surprised by this? No, it is only a 1-year contract. And this is what was a bit weird because the news broke whilst Sky Sports were speaking to Christian Horner. All the social media posts went up and Simon Lazenby turned around and was like, embargo's over, tell us about Yuki. And Christian Horner had nothing but lovely things to say about Yuki. I'm not surprised that he is very happy with Yuki's performance. But what got me in all of this was they'd asked him about it being a 1-year contract, and Horner basically turned around and was like, well, all contracts are a year. So there must be some kind of performance clause. I mean, what am I saying? Of course there is. Red Bull are known for literally just dropping drivers halfway through a season. It's nothing new. But it is very interesting that they've obviously signed on Checo, and then this is what Christian Horner says. Surely he would put a lot of backing and faith into Checo, but then maybe Christian Horner knew what was coming in qualifying and didn't want to put all his eggs in one basket, shall we say. Anyway, Yuki's signed on for another year at Visa Cash App RB. I don't know why I keep saying the full name. Yuki signed on with VCARB for another year, which is great news. It's good to see him staying on the grid. It will be interesting to see what happens from the end of the 2025 season onwards. There's the rumours that he might be going to Aston Martin with the Honda connection. But for now, that is another driver locked in. Now the big question, who lines up beside him? Listen, if you'd have asked me a while ago, I'd have said Liam Lawson. However, part of me now thinks it will just be Danny Rick. All right, moving on to qualifying. I was actually going to record this podcast episode straight after quali finished, and I actually ended up going straight to my bed because I was not feeling well, and I am putting it down to Ferrari's qualifying performance. Wow. Now, in saying that, the quali was very, very good. It was, I think, probably the most exciting qualifying session this year. Monaco was good, do not get me wrong, because that's the nature of Monaco. But this was just, it was anybody's game. We came into this qualifying session that it could have been absolutely anybody on pole. It could have been the McLarens, it could have been the Mercedes, it could have been Max. Hell, at any one point, we probably thought it could have been Logan Sargent. Now, was there an 80% chance that it would rain? Yes. Did it rain? No. Did we get a good qualifying without the rain? Yeah, we did. It was a very good qualifying session. There was lots going on. So let's get right into it. So out in Q1, Zhou Guanyu, Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, and the big one, Sergio Perez. Let's talk about the others quickly before we get into the big shocker. Am I surprised by any of the names there? The only one I am surprised by is Nico Hulkenberg, to be honest with you. I thought he would get through Q1. I did. I was a little bit shocked to see him out, but it was a tricky qualifying, I think, for everyone. And there was some names thrown about in places that you wouldn't expect them. So, yeah, a bit of a shame to see Nico out so early, but there it is. Zhou Guanyu, it is exhausting talking about Zhou being in 20th again. I just, do something, anything, please. I'm so bored of talking about how bad Zhou Guanyu is. And listen, I get it, that car is a dustbin. We've had 2 red flags this weekend, both of them caused by Zhou Guanyu. FP3, he spun off at turn 1, ended up in the wall. red flag the session. And during the red flag, it showed an image of him in the garage, and it was him and his engineers and stuff going through all the data. And it seemed as if there was an issue with the car, but I think it's just Zhou. I don't know. It's embarrassing now. It's a little bit embarrassing for Zhou. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's his last season in F1. I don't think there's any amount of marketing money that could keep him in next year. No amount of McDonald's ads could keep him in for another season. Ocon, not surprised either. I think that I kind of said in my predictions that I thought he'd maybe play things a little bit safe. But my God, the big news was Perez. Oh my God, again. Is that the third race in a row? Is it? Oh, we need to check. So that's twice he's been knocked out in Q1, back to back. And that is third time on the trot that he's not made it into Q3. Isn't this just the worst time to do it? When everyone is talking about your contract renewal and how you should be dropped and how you don't really deserve to be part of that top team, and there is other drivers who are better than you that are waiting in the wings. And on the week that they've announced your contract extension and the whole thing is about stability and the undertones of keeping Max happy, now should have been the time more than ever that Perez did a good performance. I'm not saying he needed to stick it on pole, but I'm saying he should have been in Q3. In Q1, he was a full second behind Verstappen. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry. It is so embarrassing. It just goes to show that there is a driver skill in this, that Max can stick that car second, we'll come to that, but at the same time as pole position, and Perez is 16th. He's going to have to start doing better. And it's really interesting, as I mentioned earlier, that before Perez is qualified 16th, Christian Horner's like, well, everything's a one-year contract. Is he going to see out 2026? Maybe not. Do you know what's wild as well? Is back in the Gasly Albon days of them being at Red Bull, they were dropped for having a much better performance than what Perez is having now. Gasly was dropped when he was putting that car P6, between P6 and P9, and he was told he wasn't good enough and he was dropped. Perez is literally qualifying 16th. He's crashing his car. He's not making out of Q1. What is going on? I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. He was actually out-qualified by both VCARBs and both Williams cars. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, then... Alright, moving on to Q2. And out in Q2 was Gasly, Magnussen, Logan Sargeant, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. At this point, I just wanted to turn off qualifying and go to bed. No surprise for any of the other three drivers. Quite surprising that Logan Sargeant, he's doing all right this weekend, actually. Logie Bear, my God. And do you know something? It's quite a shame. I feel quite bad for him, and I feel like it's a case of too little too late. We've watched Logan Sargeant for 2 years do pretty poorly. He's qualified really badly. He couldn't keep his car out the wall last year. He's not had a great season so far this year, but he's now just beginning to show a comfortability in the car where he can put that car into Q2. See, if he'd consistently been doing this type of performance for the past 2 years, I'd say he'd be getting that second Williams seat next year. He's showing progression now at the very last stages of his Formula One career, I'll be honest with you, because when the contract negotiations started, there was no reason for Williams to offer him a new contract. And it's a shame. Do I believe he's already aware that he's not driving in 2025? I think so, yes. But now, listen, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Alpine's going to offer him a seat. I doubt it. The only chance he had was with Williams, and now James Vowles is coming out and saying, my number one target for that seat beside Albon is Carlos Sainz. There we have it. I want Carlos Sainz. And it's quite a shame for Logan. I do feel quite bad for him, but I think even James is it's too little too late. And moving on, why? Why, Ferrari? Why? Is Matteo Binotto back in the team? What is going on? Tell me why both those drivers were on used softs for their last fast laps in Q2. Make it make sense. Surely the newer tyres should have been saved for the final fast laps of Q2 when the track is properly rubbered in. Why? I was watching it and I was like, oh my God, Charles ninth. Oh, Carlos is out. Carlos is out. Charles ninth. Charles 10th. Oh my god! And then he just got knocked out. Oh, it's just not what I wanted. And it's quite surprising from Ferrari because they've not had any real bad strategy calls this year. They've been pretty on it. They've been the ones that are pretty consistent week in, week out. They've been consistently making it into Q3, consistently on podium. Charles Leclerc consistently being fourth and above. I just don't get why make that call? Maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe there's something I didn't see or I haven't seen yet or I don't know about, but why? I just kind of expected better from Ferrari. And I know it's only qualifying for one race. Okay, I get it, but don't throw away all the hard work. Don't start slipping back. Anyway, that's all I really have to say about that, because I will have a full-on breakdown. All right, and then Q3. Let's go through a few talking points before the big talking point of qualifying. Alex Albon, Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda, very good performance. Albon coming in 10th, Stroll 9th, Tsunoda 8th. Solid performances from them. Nice to see them up in the points positions. Yuki, I've made peace that Yuki can do that, but it's nice to see Stroll and Albon up in, you know, your ninths and 10ths. Ricciardo out qualifying his teammate, coming in at 5th. Woo! That man took what Jacques Villeneuve said personally. It lit a fire under his ass, and I'm pretty sure that Ricciardo was driving that qualifying session with a big middle finger up at Jacques. He was even asked about it after the quali session, and he was like, I don't want to give it any breath. But Norris doing very, very well. 21 hundredths off pole. Like, that's wild. Absolutely wild. The fact that the top 10 are actually split between 7/10ths is insane. Alonso in P6, nice to see him back up there. We've kind of missed him a little bit. Lewis Hamilton, did kind of expect a bit more from Hamilton than P7. He was showing very good. I actually thought we were in for a Mercedes 1-2. But I don't know what happened. Just kind of slipped away. As I said, there's not much separating P1 and P10. Hamilton is 2/10ths away from pole position, so it's not as if he's miles back. But yeah, I just kind of thought we would maybe get a little bit higher from Hamilton, but my God, did his teammate pull it out the bag. George Russell in a 1:12, and Verstappen matching it. 0.00 seconds splits them. But because Russell did it first, the pole goes to Russell. Very, very good qualifying from Russell. Very good. I was genuinely surprised. I'm surprised that he has pulled that out the bag. He was actually quicker in Q2. In Q2, he did an 11.7. So, like, he's quick. He's very, very quick. I actually think it was only Russell and Hamilton that got into the 1:11s. So, very, very good job from George Russell. Very, very good. I liked that when he pulled in, he was like, yeah, let's go win the race now. And that's the kind of confidence we need going into this. And he should just not really care that much. He's not in contention for the Drivers' Championship. Merc are not in contention for the Constructors. So he kind of has nothing to lose by just fully going for it. Just don't DNF. My God, I'm absolutely pumped. Turn 1 and Turn 2 are going to be very interesting. There is going to be, I think, some spicy moves going on. Okay, so we are supposed to get rain. Whether or not it will be like what we got in qualifying, a few droplets, or whether we will actually get a little changeable conditions, get a little intermediate on. Ooh, that's exciting, isn't it? That's exciting, a little intermediate, especially after watching the practice sessions where, you know, it was the great divider. I want it to rain. Give me a changeable condition, yeah, god damn it. Give me an intermediate. Give me a bit of a strategy call. Should we put intermediates on now? How are you doing? What's the crack? Oh, I love it all. Give me that. Yeah, let's get a bit of craziness on the go, and Charles Leclerc can just sail through the field. What a changeable conditions will do to a man, send you full delusional. But that is us just now. I will be back after the Canadian Grand Prix. I think we might be in for a little bit of a banger. So we've got George Russell on pole position, like Danny Rick's 5th. Logan Sargent made it through to Q2. Perez was out in Q1. Ferraris were out in Q2. Anything can happen. God, I went to bed last night ill, and just the thought of all of this has just cleared everything up. Yeah, I will be back after the race to cover everything that happened as usual. Have a great rest of your day. Love you. Bye.